Afternoon, evening, everybody. Welcome to our April 14th, second meeting of the month of April 2021. George Lewis will be joining, it has joined us tonight. Hello, Mr. Lewis, to speak to us about his new Peru water project. I don't have much to pass along. I'm going to put a link in the chat about the Otto and Fran Walter Foundation pledging $15.5 million to establish a peace center in the Middle East or Africa. Thought that was interesting news that came out at the beginning of the month that I missed for the last meeting. But I will open it up now for anybody who's got any happy bucks that they would like to share.
I just got back from a good ride in Carrizo Plains National Monument with the GSA this time. It's good to get away.
I saw a couple of your pictures. You said you didn't ride your bike?
Yeah, I took the 09 GSA this time instead of the 07 GS.
So Scott, you would have been about 40 miles away from me.
I was thinking about that. It's like, here's another Californian Rotarian. I didn't reach out to you, but I don't. Do you ride off-road stuff, Ron?
Not really, no.
Okay.
Got the RRSs, and I know there are people that will ride those off-road, but not me.
Any
But
motorcycles?
we're
and
riding.
off-road
All you had to
motorcycle?
do was come in Highway 58,
Yeah.
and we're a block off.
Oh wow, we could have stopped by. We were at a
My
guy's-
Scout did pretty well off-road accidentally the other day. That's maybe a story for another time.
Hey, John Hendry, if I didn't know better, I'd say you were inside a camper.
You would be correct.
Looks very familiar.
Keith,
One
would
of
you
the-
know for sure?
I'll have to jump off for the at the end of the hour instead of staying for the board meeting because I've got to host another meeting for work.
Completely understand. Thanks for the heads up. My happy bucks for the meeting is that they pushed the tax deadline, which means I'm not missing it yet, which is good. Everybody gets a bit of a reprieve. We're awfully quiet this afternoon. I think everybody's just waiting with bated breath for Mr.
I have another thing.
Uta.
I
Yes,
was
please.
pretty nervous because the guy with the hotel, I want to make the reservation for the convention. He was not really responding to me. I sent him 3 emails, no answer. I was tried to calling him. He was not on the phone. And I was like, oh no, please not. Something what you think when you thought you have it and it's perfect, and then something has happened. And maybe I thought they have a contract already with Rotary International, something. So I said, okay, before we go to Maple Falls, otherwise I cannot sleep. I have to go there and step over and look what's going on, right? I stepped in the hotel. I walked through, steps, and then he came along the way and he saw me and started smiling. And I was like, okay, tell me what's wrong. And he was, the only thing what was happened, the hotel is sold to another company. And they was so busy with this stuff, but the arrangement is still there, and he will send me the proposal until the end of the week. And so I was coming out with a big smile, and I was totally happy that I don't have to start again to look, and we don't have to change anything because it's really perfect place for us. So that's why I was very happy this week.
So George, that's Uta lives in Houston, and her husband's district down there will be kind of the host district for the international conference next year, which is in Houston. So she's procured a hotel for us all to stay at and be ruffians and hooligans on our motorcycles outside of the convention area. All right, anybody else? Hey, Jerry. Well, then, without further ado, I will introduce Lewis, who will be speaking to us, the waterman. He has spoken to us once before. I believe tonight you're going to be speaking to us about the new Peru water project that you got on your plate. And I will throw it over to you. Thank you very much again for joining us. George, are you good? You have audio? Oh, I wonder if maybe he can't hear us. Let me Shoot him a text real quick. We could start
You
making,
talking to me?
I am. I was.
I have to turn up my hearing aid, I guess.
Nobody ever, I don't think I've ever been accused of not being loud enough. I don't think that's ever happened.
Okay.
So I was introducing you, George. And I was going to throw it over to you to regale us on the stories of your new Peru water project.
Okay. Of course, I did talk to you before about various things, and over the last 20 years, that's my only speech. So to talk about water specifically is a little different. So I'm not sure how long I will take, but I'll open it up to a lot of questions if you have it. I'll try to give you a little history on the grant system. But you know, if you love Rotary the way I love Rotary, you really have to think that, you know, one of our responsibilities is to help the less fortunate people around the world to have a better life. I've talked to hundreds of clubs, and I can't believe how many clubs don't do anything internationally. They feel that all their responsibility is for the community, to help people in the community, which is okay, but we are Rotary International. We're not Rotary Minneapolis or Rotary New York. We are Rotary International, and we have to help the less fortunate people around the world. That's our job. When I first started doing water grants in 2006, it was really pretty simple. They called them a matching grant. And the way it worked was you have a club in a country. Let's say it's Peru. They become your partner. And then you have to have another partner club outside of Peru, any place outside of Peru. So let's say it's the United States. So it's my club. We partner with a Rotary club in Peru. You're the two, they call them the primary partners. And they're really, the responsibility is the club in the United States, or the international club. Their primary goal or job is to raise the money for the project. The club in the country, their job is to oversee the project and to implement it in a lot of cases. The Rotary said that the club in the country, all they had to do is to put $100 in. And there was no obligation at all from their district to support them or put any money into it. So it was all up to the club in the United States or England or wherever it might be. And they were small. And the guiding post thing was that Rotary Foundation had to put in at least $5,000. That's all. So in order to do that, clubs, all they had to do was raise around $3,000 or $4,000. They say $4,000. And the way it worked normally, not always, because each district has their own way of doing things. But basically the club put in money, let's say $4,000. Their district would usually match that amount of money. They put in $4,000, called DDF, designated funds. And then the foundation would come in, they would match whatever the district put in, and they would match 50% of what the clubs put in. So you could go and do a water grant, or any kind of a grant, they call them, and with as little as $4,000. So a lot of clubs were involved. They all wanted to do matching grants because it wasn't a big deal. If they couldn't raise $4,000 by themselves, then they would go out and ask a few other clubs or to put in some money to make to make it work. But it was very, very simple. So a lot of clubs were involved with it. When we started, all we had to do was get the money. We left the implementation of the project up to the club in Peru. And when I first started, it was Guatemala. So we were doing what we call in-house water filters. And it was very simple. You got 2 5-gallon buckets, and then you put a powerful filter on the top and a spigot on the bottom. You put the rotten, stinking, dirty water in the top, and it filters through this filter. And after a period of time, the water comes down to the bottom bucket, and it was clean. And then you have a spigot. It was that simple. So we were doing that. And the international, the host club, they picked out the village the people that we were going to serve. So we arranged the money. They arranged to have the buckets made in that country, and they did pretty much everything except raise the money. But once we distributed all the filters, Rotary said, we're finished with the project. We're finished with this grant. We have no more obligation to the grant. So as a result, the sustainability was lousy. I mean, really bad. The club in Guatemala, they cared a little bit about it, but they didn't oversee it. They didn't go back every 6 months or so to see how they're doing with these filters. And as a result, and Rotary was not involved anymore. So the sustainability was lousy. We went back a year or so after we distributed all these filters in 5-gallon buckets. And the people were, they were using the buckets for chairs at the dining room. They didn't want to use something new. So what happened was Rotary realized that there's a major problem with sustainability. And they were bombarded with hundreds and hundreds of grants, and the paperwork was overwhelming. So they came up with a new idea, and it was called global grants. So instead of the minimum being $5,000 that the foundation had to put in, they raised it to $15,000. So now the minimum grant was somewhere around $35,000. And they put a major emphasis on sustainability. They want to know, if you're going to do a project, they want to know, the foundation wants to know, how is it going to be sustained? If something goes wrong, let's say that bucket, let's say a well, which is a big thing. You put in a well, and if a part goes bad, it's done. It's gone. Nobody can fix that well. Nobody can get the part for it. It's finished. Rotary wanted to know, what are you going to do about that? How are you going to sustain that well? You can't sustain it. We're not going to approve it. So as a result, many of the clubs that were doing these small matching grants, they just dropped out of they didn't want to do any more grants. The paperwork for the new grant application was really, really tough. They asked you a lot of questions. They asked you about the community buy-in. How are you going to sustain this project? Where are you going to get the parts? What's going to happen a year or two? You had to answer all those things. And it became so hard and difficult that many clubs, they just dropped out of the business of doing grants or global grants. Some of them stayed in. Like my club now that I'm in Lakewood Ranch, Florida, we stayed in. We had been doing matching grants, a lot of matching grants, and we wanted to continue doing that. So we also realized that you can't leave all of these important things up to the host club in the country, because they might have some people that are very interested in doing this, but then the next year there's different officers, different presidents, and different people in charge of things, and they're not as interested, and it falls flat on its face. The host club had no financial obligation except for $100, and so they didn't have a lot into it. So I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of these clubs, they didn't have enough into it to make it work properly. So we felt in my club that the only way to do this is to have a good partner, an NGO, non-government organization, that would partner with the host club and with our club. They became our partner. In our case, we picked an NGO called Water Mission out of South Carolina. And they practically do everything. You tell them that you want to work in that community, they will go to that community. And in order for them to be our partner in a particular country, they have to have a full-time staff of people living in that country. And we deal primarily in Peru now. So the head of the water missions in Peru is a past district governor of Rotary. And so he would take his staff, he would go to the community, he would get their buy-in and say, you know, you have to do these things. You have to make sure of that it's not implemented, because Water Mission is going to implement the project. But when Water Mission goes into the community, they'll do an assessment of the community, and they'll say, what we have to do in this community is this. We have to put in a well. We have to put in an irrigation system. We have to put in a sanitation thing and toilets, and whatever it might be. It's up to Water Mission to make that decision. They're professionals. They can do it a lot better than a Rotary Club in Peru.
George, can I ask a question?
What?
Can I ask a question?
No.
Please.
No. I can't. I got to keep going. You can ask a lot of questions. This is a short talk, so you can ask a lot of questions at the end. So what happens is Water Mission goes in. They get the community to buy in. They assess what is needed. They implement the project. They do it. They don't leave it up to the Rotary Club in Peru. They don't do anything except they supposedly oversee it, but they really don't have to do anything. We're helping their community, so they're happy. Then the other thing that's very important is that they do the sustainability. If something goes wrong with a part, they have the parts in Peru, and they can fix it. So we have done so many grants, our club, in Peru and Guatemala mostly, that when it comes time for the application, we just send in the same application that we sent in for other projects. It's easy. We don't have to worry about the foundation approving it or asking us 50 questions. We've done so many of these that it's just a boilerplate. We just change the name of the community and the things that we're doing. So it's easy. I would say, some people say, well, we're going to do it, but we don't have an NGO. We don't have a partner. We don't have a professional NGO partner. I say, whoa, you're going to have problems. You have to have, I think, an NGO partner that will help you do this. So with Water Mission, they practically do anything, and we've been working with them for years. We don't ask them to put any money into it, but they get major discounts on all the parts, and they pass that on. They pass that on to us. So when I said at the beginning that the grants are usually $35,000, which in the case when they were doing $12,000 grants in the past, this was huge. A lot of clubs dropped out. We stayed in. Now we're doing projects that are even bigger. We just completed a project, $130,000, and it's a 2-phase project. Second phase we're working on now, it's $150,000. So you say, how can you, where are you going to get all this money? And Rotary even made it harder. They used to give 50% match to the clubs. They don't do that anymore. So it's harder to raise the money. So how do we do it? Well, I don't think any club, one club can do it all by themselves with a $150,000 grant. So over the years, we've developed a team of clubs that help us and districts. And they help us. If we go back to them, if they have any money available, they're gonna help us. They're gonna be part of the team year in and year out because they know it's gonna be done. They like Water Mission, and it's like, hey, Water Mission. Every time we do a grant, they come out with a mission statement on this particular project. It shows the plan. It shows what they're going to do in this particular grant, and they're going to tell how they're going to do it, how much money, how many people they're going to serve, and they talk about what they're going to do specifically for that community. So it's very, very professional, and I think that's what you need in order to be successful with this, and Rotary Foundation knows that. So they like what we do. So they don't come back and ask us a million questions like they do. If you were to start a brand new water project on your own, you'd be overwhelmed with how many questions the foundation would ask you. We don't have to worry about that because we do this so often that it's just a slam dunk. So that's what we do now. We work primarily in Peru, and we work sometimes in Guatemala. Sometimes people ask me, can you work in some country? And I say, well, let me first look to see whether Water Mission works in that country. If they don't work in that country, I say, no, we can't help you. We want to work with Water Mission. I understand that your club has done some international projects, which is fantastic. I don't grants. I don't know what you do, whether you are the primary partner or you just donate money to them. Either way is good. But my feeling is I would like your club, because you've asked me to talk specifically about a water project. I would like your club to become one of our partners. Make a contribution, whatever, $500, $1,000, whatever you can afford. And then I would ask you, go to your district and get some money, some DDF from them. You got to do that. It's a little work. You got to go, you got to find out who's in charge of that. You go to them and you ask them, and they have money. They have money every year from.
Hey, George.
It comes back from their
George.
foundation. So they have the money, so you can ask them. And we have districts also as partners almost every year. They are very willing to support us. So that's why I'm here. I would actually ask you to be a partner. I know last time I talked to you, I think I did anyway, about pet portraits. That's how I raise money. I'll bring you up to date. I hope I talked to you about pet portraits. But I think I just talked to you. I didn't ask you if you wanted to do any. So in just a very short period of time, I've done 309 pet portraits. And I do a lot of them because of Zoom meetings. So I'm going to ask you to do something, to do, say, five pet portraits from your friends, from your family, for yourself. You can do it. And the pet portraits are oil, unframed, shipped free for only $150. Of the $150, $100 goes into the grant for your personal Paul Harris Fellow credit. And because I'm doing a Zoom meeting, I'll match the $100 out of my charity. So when you do a pet portrait, $200 will go into the grant, our water grant, for your personal Paul Harris Fellow. How can you beat that? So, so a lot of people say, I hate people that are negative. They say, I don't have a pet. What do you mean you don't have a pet? So your family, somebody in your family has a pet. Your neighbor has a pet. Some friends have a pet. Somebody, you can find somebody with a pet. If you can't find somebody, just go out walking on the street. You'll find somebody walking with a dog and just ask them to do a pet portrait. People love their pets. So that's where I am with pets. I think I showed you this last time. Here's my little boy, Baxter. It's oil. I got him right over my computer. I talk to him every day. I say, how you doing, Baxter? And it's fun. It's a way for me to be in communication with my pet. 30% of the pet portraits I do are for pets that have passed away. So as an individual, you can help in a water project. And it's easy. And if your club has some extra money, I would appreciate it. You thinking about being part of our team. Okay. Now I'll take questions. What are the questions? Don't make them hard now.
Okay, first question right now that I have is about the water project. I know we have several going in Guatemala, you said. The one of them is in Copan, in the border between Guatemala and Honduras. We had another one that is being worked on. And then I just want to know which other areas are you providing this, like, because our group is willing to help and we all willing to help.
Really.
However, we need it very specific on the programs and the projects that we're getting involved into it.
You know, I'm not really hearing you that well. I'm sorry. My hearing is lousy anyway. So, what is your? Can somebody else say it? His is a little boring. Go ahead, do it again.
Where is Amanda? So let me try this here.
Amanda had to leave.
Oh, I have to leave. We want specifics in the program, George.
Specific.
Which program are you focused on? Which
Okay,
water
I got it
project,
right
which country?
Okay, let me read it to you. That's a good question. This is a project. We're the primary partner in the United States, and then there's a club that we work with in Peru. And we're going to work in a community, and this is the second one. It's $155,000. We already completed the first phase, which was $130,000. Listen to this. You will see how professional Water Team International is. Water Mission Peru, which is a group of people that work for Water Mission that live in Peru. Water Mission's country program in Peru was established in 2006 and earned non-government organization, NGO status in 2013. Over the past decade, our Peruvian team has provided more than 100,000 people across the country access to sustainable, safe water or sanitation. We do a lot with sanitation, toilets. Water Mission Peru has offices located in Iquitos in Peru, or whatever, I can't pronounce it. Now, the community overview. Living adjacent to the dry climate of northwestern Peru, the people of Talandracas, that's the community, are accustomed to the hard work required to maintain the agriculture that has sustained the local communities for centuries. Most families work in agriculture, earning around $5 per day. The second phase of this project provides safe water to the 3,600 residents of the 5 communities surrounding Talandracas. These communities currently get their water from a nearby river, which is treated with a low sand filtration process before it reaches 2 large storage tanks and a piped network to all 723 households. Unfortunately, this process is difficult to maintain, and water testing revealed bacterial contamination in the water network. Also, the water source is subject to seasonal shortages, and over the years, the supply line has become clogged due to river sediment causing further shortages. Now, This is what they're going to do. There is an existing pipeline from the borehole to the community, to the shore, to the storage tanks that serves the surrounding communities that has never functioned due to the distance and elevation change between the two sites. The project plan is to construct a booster station along this water line that would pump the water the rest of the way to the storage tanks. A large solar array would power the booster pump, and chlorine dosing would ensure this water is safe. Households, you're going to put water meters in the house, which will be installed at each house in order to calculate household water consumption and teach about water conservation in order to ensure the sustainability of the project with the support of your Rotary. And that's it. In other words, this is very professional. It's just not like when I first started putting 2 5-gallon buckets in. This is big time. The club in Peru could not possibly have done this. Water Mission can do it. And that's why this is such a good project. And not only that, we have lined up several more water projects, and we've done many in the past. We have a team in our club of 10 people that work just on these projects, and several of them go to Peru every year. Not last year, but every year they look at the clubs, they look at the projects, they try to get other Rotary clubs in Peru to become partners with us, so that we can work in a lot of different areas in Peru. It's very, very professional. And I think if you want to become partners with something that works and is something good, then you should be our partner. You should be part of our team. I hope that answered your question.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No. You guys usually have so many questions. Well, thanks, George.
Thank you. I'll be in touch. I'm
Have
like
a
a
great-
bulldog. I'm not letting you get off the hook. And I want some pet portraits. I want some pet portraits right away. The one club I did a Zoom, they gave me 11 orders within a 2-week period. So you don't have to do 11. 5 would be great. But thank you very much. Have a good evening. I appreciate it.
Hey,
Thanks,
George,
Thank you.
George, can I put you down as a visitor in our meeting today?
What?
Can I put you down as a visitor in our meeting today?
I can't hear. I'm sorry. I can't hear.
I'll-
I'll be in touch with Linda.
Okay.
And I hope that your president would send out a message to all members telling them about the pet portraits. And I hope that your board will decide to support us. That's up to you. I'm not gonna, if you want to do it, that's fine. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, George.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you, Ken.
I need his email to put him down as a visitor.
Oh, okay.
I'll send it to you.
Here is my portrait of my dog.
Visiting Rotarian, right?
If anybody has his email address, just stick it in the chat and I'll add him as a visitor.
I've got it. I'll put it in there.
Okay, and according to this, I have to specifically ask him if it's okay, but we'll assume it's okay.
Okay.
So anyway, he talked about being with a club in South Carolina. The club he's referring to is in Fort Mill, South Carolina. That club has been going to Honduras and other parts of Guatemala doing water projects. And what he was, saying, when usually they partner with another club in the in-country and they buy all the materials and they do all of that. And there is a cost associated to that because there has to be somebody that is maintaining and testing the waters. And that's the expensive part that the community has to to maintain. Sometimes can be a burden to the community, because I know that in Copan, the engineer, the local engineer that's in charge of testing the water doesn't do just only one. He does multiple sources of water, fresh water for different communities. So they pay him for all those tests to maintain the safe levels. But it's not only one, it's like 8 different communities where they have taken advantage of the project. So, but it is 4 mil if anybody wanted a clarification on that, because George is like a bulldog, he said. I'm like, well, bulldogs can be rude. And I don't like rude people. I'm a nice guy, but I'm a biker too, and sometimes it comes out. Sorry. Anyway, so other than that, now about the dog portraits, I have a great printing machine that makes great portraits. Yeah. David is just like, oh my God. Anyway, so other than that, Linda has me scheduled for when, Linda?
June 16th.
June 9th. June 9th, I'll be
June
speaking
16th.
about my expertise in insurance for you all. So don't forget.
16th.
16th?
Yeah.
June 16th, okay,
June 16th.
June 16th.
I shall put it in the notes.
Awesome. So anyway, here's,
Emilio's large and in charge.
there you go. And then here's another picture of my other dead dog. So I got 2 dead dogs.
You're going to the dogs, Emilio.
Yeah, there you go. There's the other one. Yeah, my dogs are, they were 14 years old when they passed away. So,
You can see it.
oh, we can't see it.
See it.
We can't see it.
Can't see it. Can't see it.
Barely we can see the
Jeff's got his,
schnauzer.
yeah, it's a schnauzer.
Yeah, I love schnauzers.
The kids put a schnauzer head on a motorcycle dude
Oh, there you go.
and made a picture of it for us. I'll have to take the virtual background off in order for you to see it though.
Yeah, the schnauzers are.
And Jeff hates it when I mess with his filters, but all the more reason to do it, right?
That's right. Oh, there you
There you
go.
go.
There's the portrait of the schnauzer.
There it is. And the real schnauzer's down here complaining because I won't throw the ball.
Oh, awesome. Oh, anyway, everybody's so quiet today.
That's true.
Must be a lot of thinking going on there. All these former presidents of Rotary clubs and governors, former Governor Jerry.
I got lost there with my camera off. I had to take a call from the American Red Cross, so I'm giving blood tomorrow.
Awesome.
Which is cool because it appears I'm leaving on Sunday the 25th for Guatemala. Maybe I might be there for a month, and so once I come back from there, I got another 3-month span after that before I can give again. So this is good. They stopped me from giving a month ago. I was still infected with my brain cancer thing, or my skin cancer. Sorry. So
Oh,
I'm good.
the hair grew too, right, Jerry?
Actually, the scar's in there now, and I was just looking this morning, and there's little bitty hairs growing out of it. So my hair is coming back too.
You're
Not
lucky.
that it matters anymore.
It does.
I'm
believe
getting a
me.
haircut tomorrow. I'm gonna get this down to, I think that's 1-ish uses. I'm gonna get this shaved way down, all the way up here again. Get
Called
back
the
to my little-
tropical
my
haircut.
teenage spike again.
When I was riding with the Harley Davidson group in my hometown, there was always one guy, he's a hair cutter, and he had to cut a lot of, heads when we was together over a weekend or whatever, because everybody was like, oh, Vanna, could you make me a haircut or whatever? You know, it was really funny. But we have no stylist in our group already, right?
Now that I'm aware of.
I used to cut way back when I was in the military.
Willing to
Quite a
try.
bit.
Yeah.
A lot of trimming, a lot of touching
Yeah.
up at right before inspections and stuff like that.
Oh, there is the dog.
It was a
Yeah,
bitch being the only guy
I
that knew how
trimmed
to
my
do that.
schnauzer. You might be sorry.
Oh, there you go. Look at that, Scott.
All right, Mickey,
Oh, look at
Mickey, next
Scott
time you
has
and I are
one too.
together, we'll open up shop together. There's a schnauzer on my picture right here, right now. That's pretty big here. Emilio, the schnauzer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, with the
Oh, that's a
whiskers.
schnauzer. That's a schnauzer,
okay.
not a schnauzer. So Jerry, did you get my my 2 packages in the mail?
I did. I got to put out some emails about that too. But yeah, thank you very much. I got to put out emails to everybody. I've gotten a number of packages lately, and I'll put out an email about it. Anything that's broken, we shouldn't waste time sending.
Oh,
And
sorry, I
there's
didn't realize.
no,
it
no,
was
no, no.
broken.
They're not a problem. You had a lot of great stuff in there, so I'll put out an email with some more instructions.
I
to
didn't
help
I
you.
didn't sort it. I just
Dump them in.
dumped them in.
Do they charge you when you do that? Was that by the package or by the weight?
It's a flat fee.
Flat
So
fee?
it's like $8.
Okay. Cool.
The first one I didn't learn my lesson. I just grabbed the first box that was handy and it cost me 15. The second time I got smarter. I should have known better. I used to manage logistics for a living, but that's what happens when you haven't done it for a while.
The world of logistics.
I'm so far behind. I'm processing these glasses. I've probably got 1,000 pairs sitting here. And it's going to get further behind because I think on the 25th, I'm heading to Guatemala. So
Awesome.
Emilio, they've asked me to, well, you were there.
Yeah.
Go and spend a few days. So we'll see if we can make that work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
so
gotta
one of
make
the
it
other
work.
questions was, do you want non-prescription sunglasses?
Nope. No sunglasses, no readers, nothing broken, and no cases. I throw that all away. So I get brand new sunglasses. Actually, the next time I go into Guatemala, I'm supposed to have 500 pair of Maui Jims given to me for free.
Nice.
Yeah, $300 pair of glasses.
Wow.
I'm going to need you to go with me on that one, Emilio, because
I will.
we're going to have to talk our way through customs on those.
Oh, I can talk my way to customs.
They had a fit over the ones I was bringing in that would cost me $1 a pair.
I know. Oh yeah, I can walk through like I'm home through customs in
Pero
Guatemala.
este tiempo yo comprende más español.
Español.
Es más difícil para ellos.
Jerry, do you partner with other clubs on that thing for Guatemala or no?
The Guatemala thing?
Yeah.
There's a club in Barrias that we've done a lot of things with. There's only, if I remember right, 4, maybe 6 clubs in all of Guatemala. Okay.
Right.
And the ones we'd like to partner with are, well, there's one we'd like to partner with, and to date they've been too hoity-toity. The ones down in Antigua.
Yeah. I gotta talk to them.
We're gonna have Emilio open that door maybe, but
yeah, because I know the president there.
Yeah, so we've done things occasionally with the club up there as well. In fact, there is some pending water projects right in the area where we're going that are tied through our district.
Are you all ready?
Well, oh my goodness.
Oh, jeez.
That was a shitty picture.
What ain't the brown snow?
I was just asking because, going back to George's conversation of what activities are clubs engaged in. The Oakland Club, they did a lot of stuff local to Oakland and they had, 2 or 3 international trips per year. They're a pretty big club. They run at something like 130 members, I think.
Hey,
Yeah,
if any of you all want to plan, I need some extra help next May. So I think it's about May 6th that we'll be going down there. So if any of you all want to think about that in the future. So I know Emilio, Amanda.
Oh, yeah, I'm
and
on
I
it.
think David was planning on going. So,
we had Amanda at one point.
oh, she's planning to go.
Okay.
Yeah, she told me she would still plan to go. So once we had to bail on this one.
I might be
So-
interested. The international stuff is one of the reasons that I joined anyway.
Yeah.
But just, of course, the timing is just crap with
Yeah.
the pandemic.
Oh, this pandemic screwed so much.
Absolutely.
I've rescheduled this now. This will be the 4th time. So, but it's it's real life. We're gonna get back there.
Yeah.
We're gonna get back there. My take on this. Michigan's having its worst go of it right now for a lot of reasons. But it's interesting that the people that have complained the most about the mask are the ones that are complaining are anti-vaccine right now too. So it's just the group of people that like to complain, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, we're sitting here, deciding whether we're not going to get the vaccine or not. And down there, they would love to get the vaccine. They've had a few doses that came in, and they don't have any clue when the next ones are going to be available. And so it's tough for them. And when their country shuts down, they have, Guatemala doesn't have states. The difference of states is departments. And so the departments is like 2 or 3 large counties here. Okay. And when they shut down, you can't travel between departments even, period. And so it's crazy. And they are going on, they're up in the levels again right now down there. So, but from a comparison point of view, you have to admire them. They have about 8,000 active cases right now, whereas we've got about 220,000 cases in Michigan, about the same land mass and half the population in Michigan.
And we've 14 million people in Guatemala.
220,000 cases here. There's 18 million in Guatemala, isn't there?
14.
14. Okay. Well, there's 10 here in Michigan. And like I said, things are crazy right now.
It's easier to help
really
people who are
bad.
interested in,
What's that?
My sister-in-law said it's really bad up there in Michigan.
Well, there's Macomb County is saturated in hospital beds right now. What's happened was the opening of the schools, primarily sports, high school sports, and that's a big focus of what went on. There was an early on. I mean, Michigan's a travel center, and the British variant has gone rampant here more than any place else. And a bunch of people in February and March went on their spring breaks to Florida, where's the other rampant place, and brought it back. So it's right now this is different than before. The surges before were around people, between 40 and 60 years of age and above. And now the surges are in the 30 somethings.
Yeah.
And so,
Jerry, you're right. About 18 million people now in Guatemala.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but whatever. And
Yeah,
about 1 million Guatemalans live here too.
Yeah, a lot of. Yeah, we have a huge Guatemalan population here in the upstate because they moved from South Florida.
Most of that's left over from the civil wars.
Yep.
Back, in the mid 90s and earlier.
80s, yeah, late 80s.
The 80s and the mid 90s, up to mid 90s.
It was terrible at that time, I tell you.
Yeah.
So
anyway, yeah.
I'm going to jump in and do a little bragging here.
Okay, good.
The province of Nova Scotia has 1 million people. We have 40 active cases.
Oh, that's awesome.
Awesome.
We also have a housing market that's gone crazy because every Canadian wants to move here.
Yeah. Well, it's a nice place.
It is.
Do they need a yellow motorcycle to go with their new house?
You still trying to sell that thing?
I haven't pushed it really hard yet. I guess I'm going to wait till I get back from Guatemala and then I'll start pushing it.
There you go. Yeah.
I've not been exactly anxious, but my wife's starting to get anxious about it. So.
Well, the season.
I have in the back of my mind, if it doesn't sell, I'll go trade it in on a slingshot and then I'll get in trouble there too.
Yes, you would.
Oh, Dev may want it, right, Dev?
No, I do not need a slingshot. I need a house with a third garage bay at the moment. So that's my mission at the moment. But I, you know what, right now, I mean, especially up there, it's still early. You're early in the season with that. So yeah, go to Guatemala and come back and try moving it.
Yep. I'll tell you you think about what you have a 2-car garage now and you need a 3.
Oh yeah.
I will tell you from real experience, doesn't matter how many spaces you have, they're all going to be full.
Oh Lord.
I've got so much crap. I got a 2-car garage and I got a 30 by 60 pole barn. And I don't have room to park another motorcycle. My car's parked outside because of it.
Oh, it's crazy.
You got to do what Jeff did, build a pole barn.
I have one of those. I'm thinking about expanding it, quite frankly.
And you got room to expand there, Jerry.
Yeah, I do. I got another 9 acres.
See, the weird thing here in Texas, because people drive gigantic trucks, I mean, huge trucks, you are never going to fit that in your garage here. I have yet to be in a garage that is big enough to park the gigantic truck that everybody owns. So we're trying to figure out, we're like, what were these garages built for? They're not terribly.
Yugos. They were built for Yugos.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'll tell you, while I was working in Houston, we had at least a couple guys downtown every day driving these giant dually trucks through downtown Houston, could not park in the designated free parking garage, had to go find someplace off campus to park. And every day I was like, why? Why would you drive just one person through downtown Houston? With
Gas
that
goes
big
through.
monster?
Yeah.
Never understood it.
My business partner bought an F2, a gigantic F-250, and it was hilarious because the first time he showed up for a meeting in it, he didn't tell me, shows up for this meeting, and literally I'm sitting in a boardroom looking out a window, and I watch him literally jump and hit the ground and put his arms up. And I'm like, well, I guess it's good you stuck the landing coming out of it. He's like, I saw you watching me. And I'm like, oh, dude, I'm like, there's something going on if you bought a truck that is too big for you to get in and out of. It's just.
I always think
Is
it's
his
funny
truck
when
bigger than
somebody
yours?
gets a little step stool to get in and out, or they get a step stool to get their partner in and out of the car.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I've seen all sorts of crazy stuff. Actually, over the weekend, we got stuck coming back through Austin, and there was a just massive turbo diesel in the lane next to me, and I had to get away from it because I could hear the turbo spooling, and it was like every time he hit the gas, belching black smoke. It was like, get me out of this lane, please. Austin traffic is about the worst you can possibly imagine.
Ask me, we just had it
Yeah.
today.
Oh, I know. It's so horrible.
Yeah, when
I think it's like every other
when
big
Jeff
city,
and I first got married, he was living in Houston.
Oh yeah.
So Deb, what are you saying, that we shouldn't come to Houston then because of the traffic?
That was
Houston.
Austin, not Houston.
No, just don't drive a big truck.
Oh,
Drive a
okay.
motorcycle. And then look out for the big trucks who aren't paying attention to the motorcycles.
No, and by the way, Keith, because the hotel is not downtown, I really booked it that you can go on the easy way over there. They have a big parking spot, but it was gated. It's closed. That's because of the motorcycles, I thought. And of course, you are welcome.
Oh, I will be there.
Yes, for
I'm
sure.
looking forward to it.
Somebody remind me when I get back from Guatemala, because registration will probably be open right around that time, I would imagine. So I'll be there.
Great. I want a big party, guys, really, and also with the IFMR fellows from Germany and, France, they want to come over. And the Sister City Association also from the German city, Leipzig, And of course, IFMR members, I made promotion everywhere. I hope they're coming all. And we can talk together, have a good time, make party and, spend the evenings with each other. And we don't have to drive because we have a restaurant inside and we have a bar inside. So don't worry. And you have
Sounds good to me.
And he told me yesterday, he said the breakfast will be included because that was one point I wanted to have. And the other point was that every room now have there are rooms with king or queen size and double beds. So if you guys want to share a room, that's not an issue then. And all the rooms will have a refrigerator inside and a microwave.
That's good.
That's a plus. So
Are you sure you
Yeah,
weren't a
I'm
travel
ready,
agent in
coach.
your past life?
excuse me?
Are you sure you weren't a travel agent in your past life? Those are
Yeah,
all the
I'm
things-
sure.
All the things I
Pardon?
always used to ask for whenever I had a meeting.
No, but I did the same, exactly the same, the year before last year in 2019 in Germany. That's why it's so easy for me to ask what I want because I did it already, Only on the other side now I'm asking, not in the other country, I'm asking here. So that's why it's a little bit like I have my experience in that. And I want, honestly, we not have the time to meet each other. So I'm really looking forward. I'm so excited about to see everybody in person, that's nobody can imagine. And we have a good time together, hopefully as well. So, that's my goal for the end of my year. So what goal can be better, right?
We're not all deep fakes.
What?
That we're not all deep fakes like CGI creations or something like that. It's kind of funny. Ollie wrote me through that.
Okay, it's coming to that time, isn't it?
Coming to what time?
8 o'clock.
Coming close to closure. We probably
Yep.
should get the other meeting on its way as well.
Yeah.
I've got to bounce out for my next meeting at work. So. still on
Bye,
clock.
Scott. Thank you for joining
Bye,
us
Scott.
and
See you next
see you
week,
next
guys.
week.
See you,
Are
Scott.
you sure, Scott, you don't want to take meeting minutes for this one? Because I don't know if I can stay for the whole meeting.
You're so good at it, Nikki. All right, I'll see you.
See you,
All right,
everybody.
well, you're gonna have to take meeting. Oh, I guess we don't need meeting minutes next week. I can't.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Good night. And don't forget to stop the recording.